From IPOs on the NYSE to significant investments, the space industry has made plenty of headlines in 2025. And our next guest says there is plenty more to come. Joining me now is Eric Romo, COO and president of aerospace company Impulse Space. Eric, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so first of all, what is Impulse Space? What are you doing?
We're a space mobility company. So what that means is that we don't work on getting to space, we work on moving things through space. In practice, that means if you need to go really far away in space or you need to move quickly between orbits, we're the company that helps with that. We make a small space vehicle that's largely for national security purposes that moves really quickly within space. And we make a larger space vehicle that's good at bringing large communication satellites very far away out to geostationary orbit.
What are the logistics for that, for getting something into space? Is there like a regulatory environment? It's absolutely fascinating.
Oh yeah, but very much so. So as you can imagine, space is really started as a military regime, and so it's kind of grown up in that regulatory environment of the Air Force and then now Space Force being in control of a lot of stuff, including the launch pads. Luckily though, with the advent of what SpaceX has done, it's really changed into more of a commercial industry. And so it's become easier and easier to book rides to space and get there quickly.
All right, and what is driving momentum across the commercial space industry right now?
Yeah. You really can't tell that story without starting with SpaceX. So SpaceX, just for context, just hit, just the other day, they surpassed the mass that they've lifted to space is more than every other rocket, American rocket in history. So starting with the Apollo program and Saturn V and the space shuttle and all that stuff, if you stack all that stuff up, SpaceX has now done more than all of those rockets combined. And so they've really revolutionized access to space, and that's sort of the start of this. The next thing they did, though, is they invented what's become the best business in space with Starlink. And that's part of the reason that everybody knows their name now. The rockets are really cool, and they're cool to watch on YouTube, but Starlink is a big business. It's now, it's hard to get data out of that company sometimes, but it's approaching, I think, $10 billion in revenue right now. It's the biggest business in commercial space. And then the next thing that's happening is they're trying to take that next leap in revolutionizing access to space with Starship. And so Starship is supposed to be an order of magnitude cheaper than the Falcon line that they're launching today. And that, people think in the industry, is going to really continue to drive commercial space forward. So really starts with them and then proliferates to the investors who are chasing the next SpaceX and want to put money into some other companies that might be the next Starlink, and then companies like ours who are trying to take advantage of this revolutionized access to space.
And what impact will opening up access to space have on our world?
Yeah, I mean, people don't really think too much about what space has done for us historically, but it's a lot. The GPS constellation, as an example, started as a military thing. It started for our troops in different theaters to know where they are and position things and use rockets to hit stuff. But now it's become as this amazing asset for our day-to-day lives. Everything, DoorDash, Uber, logistics from Amazon, airplanes, crop fields, everything relies on GPS. It's by some estimates, something like $1 trillion in economic value come from this basically public good that's out in space. And so that's the first thing that really unlocked for commercial access to space. But the next thing is really telecommunications. So telecoms from space has been around for about 25 or 30 years, and the only time people really experience it, most people, is when they're on an airplane, and you see a little logo in the corner that says which space company is powering their access from for internet access from space. But now with Starlink, it's a lot more people. You've got, by some estimates, millions, if not tens of millions of people who are getting access to the internet because of Starlink. And the next thing that a lot of people think might happen is things like direct-to-device. So if you look at what ASC SpaceMobile is doing, they're looking at trying to build a direct-to-device constellation to allow you to use your cell phone in places where you don't have coverage. So that's, I think, frankly, a little bit of a debate in the space community about whether or not that's the next big business to come, is direct-to-device, but there's a lot of people who think it is.
What are some things, and we're in our last minute of the show, but what are some things that your company has moved through space?
Yeah, so we a lot of what we do actually right now is for the purposes of national security, and so moving quickly to going to between orbits, so we can see what maybe China or Russia is doing in space, is a big part of what's going on in the space industry right now. Historically, U.S. and China are the only ones who've had access to space, and now China's really coming up very quickly.
All right, really, really interesting stuff. Eric Romo, COO and president of Impulse Space. Thank you so much for joining us at the New York Stock Exchange and sharing something really cool.
Thank you for having me.